Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 9 of the 25 Vuelta a España. Now today's stage is a summit finish. Important thing to look at when we look at the profile at just under 200 kilometers long, talk about 195K, and I'll call it about 120 miles in length. We look at the final summit climb. It's flat before that, but the final summit is 13.5 kilometers. Average is just about 5%. No big deal, right? No, not really. The first 4 kilometers, 3.5 kilometers, they're wicked hard. We're talking about 10% and 12% sections up that first part. Then it becomes, for 6 kilometers, about a medium-sized climb at about 7%. Then the last 4 kilometers, a little bit softer. We're talking 4 and 5%. So what does that mean if you went to bed last night and you're one of the Grand Tour teams here at the Vuelta a España that are getting ready to start? Well, if you're Visma bike and you look at this stage, you go, I might wait for stage 13, the Angleroo stage, unless we get a tactically good scenario, because you have Sepp Kuss, Jorgensen, and of course, our real race leader, Jonas Vingegaard, sitting second on the general classification, 2 minutes and 33 seconds behind Torsten Treyen from Bahrain Victorious. But we all know Jonas Vingegaard is the hot-handed favorite to win the Vuelta a España, and he's kind of letting the jersey hang over there at Torsten Treyen for the minute. So if you're Visma bike, calm as a bomb on today's stage, nothing to worry about. You got Sepp Kuss, you got Jorgensen, and you got Jonas Vingegaard if things get difficult on the final climb. But when it gets soft at the top, and we're talking about 4% at about 4 kilometers long, you have to be very, very careful. As the climb comes down, the field becomes a little bit more even, and you have more numbers at the finish of the climb possibly, so you got guys that could be attacking with a ton of speed. 4%, I mean, we're talking about attacking at 40 kilometers an hour, 25 miles an hour, no problem. Sometimes they could do 50 kilometers an hour, be attacking at 30, so a gap can happen really quickly at the final of today's climb if you're not very careful. So you want numbers wrapped around you. Now we look at Lidl-Trek. Lidl-Trek has Ciccone. Ciccone is who I have called one of the fastest sprinters when you get up on a mountain stage. So Lidl-Trek might want to control this stage. They've been aggressive, too aggressive, most of the time racing throughout this first week, and especially near the very end of the races. You have to stay very well organized at the beginning of this climb, because why? It's very steep. Lidl-Trek do not have a super climbing team. They have Verona and Baggioli. But if these two guys cannot make it over the first 4 kilometers of super stick section on this climb and then the next 6K, well, no one's going to want to go to the line with Ciccone, and there could be attacks all over. Someone could go up the road, Ciccone loses out, and maybe they rode all day. UAE Team Emirates, well, this would have been the ideal stage. Guys, this is why you don't have Jay Vine dropping off in the first week of the Vuelta. This is why you don't have Ayuso dropping off trying to win stages. It's ridiculous that Jay Vine and that Ayuso have dropped off and lost time, because this is the stage you really need them for. This is a perfect stage if you're not the outright favorite of climbers, because now you can attack once you get into the midsection of this climb, if not at the very final parts of the last 4 kilometers, and it gets a little bit softer, and you can win here today and put pressure on Visma bike by attacking them. So Visma bike wants it calm throughout the stage. They don't care. UAE team members should have kept their team together, but they didn't. Now they only have Almeida. So what's going to happen if Jorgensen and Sepp and Jonas Vingegaard start attacking? Who's going to be there to look after Almeida if Ayuso drops off early and Jay Vine does? He doesn't have much climbers left other than Soler. Okay, let's start getting into the stage, because we're going to go in with about 80 kilometers to go. We got 5 guys going up the road. Michael Kwiatkowski's there, Michael Hessman's there, Archie Ryan's there from EF Education, Kevin Vermark from Picnic, and Liam Slock there from Lotto Destiny are in the front group. There is no Destiny, it's just Lotto. Anyways, these guys are holding about 2.5 minutes on the peloton behind, and who's pulling on the front? Lidl-Trek, of course, and Q36.5. Now, I like this too from Q36.5 and Lidl-Trek. The only problem with riding on the front right now is you got to understand that you're pulling Visma bike, and Visma bike hasn't spent any energy throughout the first week here of the Vuelta a España. But these two teams have fast guys that can come to the finish, Ciccone and, of course, Tom Pidcock. So I'm going to be happy enough with this because it's a soft climb at the finish of the stage and I don't believe Jonas is going to want to light things up on today's stage anyways. So we go deeper into the stage, into about 45 kilometers to go. We're getting a little bit of a crosswinds, but it's been a pretty mellow start to the stage here. But we see Sepp Kuss, he's got a rear wheel issue. He's getting that fixed, and then he hurries quickly to get back up to the peloton because we can tell the peloton's going fast right now. So we'll see Sepp Kuss in the cars there. He'll find his way back on eventually. And then we see Lidl-Trek start really driving at the front with Søren Kragh Andersen. The gap is at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. With 30 kilometers to go, there is the intermediate sprint points competition. Mads Pedersen, Lidl-Trek wearing the green jersey. So we see Søren Kragh Andersen drilling it. We see Gebreg Zabier drilling it, both from Lidl-Trek. And along with them, we got Dan Uhl drilling it on the front. Guys, they're going hard. I mean, Søren Kragh Andersen is throwing into it hard. That's why Sepp Kuss had to be really careful. Now we see David Gaudu back there. He's going to have a bike change, and he's going to have to find his way back to the back of the group, which he'll do too, because now this really going Mach speed. We come into 30 kilometers to go. It's Liam Slock up there from Lotto that grabs maximum points. Behind Søren Kragh Andersen is digging hard at this moment. As he's digging hard, they exit the town. They hit this little bump. And again, he's still digging at the front. We come into about 18 kilometers to go. We see Q36.5s on the front. Lidl-Trek now have Mads Pedersen getting up there. Julian Bernard's getting up there, which means Cicconi's going to be in the picture and Baggioli soon enough. So with those guys up there in this battling, we come into 15 kilometers to go, and Julian Bernard is hitting the front. Now, Julian Bernard and Mads Pedersen at the front, they're trying to set this up and bring the breakaway guys back just as we get into the last 13 kilometers to go at this stage, so that's why they're drilling hard at the front. We see Premier Tech come into the picture. If I back the film up just a little bit, because they got Riccatello that they're fighting for, and of course Frigo. Now we go back up front as we come into 13.8 kilometers to go. Bjorg's on the front. We look behind him, it's Groschartner. We look over to the center, we see the race leader's red jersey, Torsten Treyen, and just around him is Almeida, the race leader for UAE Team Emirates, because everyone else is off of the general classification except for Marc Soler. But Almeida is their leader, trust me. We go to the back of the peloton. What's happened? Ayuso is taking another day off here at the Vuelta a España on stage 9. So Almeida has lost his #1 Super Domestique, who's never been in Domestique throughout this Vuelta a España at this moment, as Ayuso's dropping off the stage winner earlier here in the week. He had legs to win a stage. Jay Vine had legs to win the stage. The team time trial, Ayuso had legs to win the stage, but now he's getting dropped with a sprinter called Fabio Christensen. We go back up to the front. We're coming into about 13.5 kilometers to go. This is when the climb starts proper with this left turn. Mads Pedersen's leading the peloton at the front there. As he's leading it, the 5 breakaway riders, they're getting wrapped up, but not quite yet as Mads Pedersen blows and Verona hits the front. At this moment, if you're Lidl-Trek, you got to be what? Very, very cautious with your energy. Guys, you got 13 plus kilometers to go. The first 3, 4 are hard. The next 6 is a decent climb at over 6%. Then the last 4 gets easy, and you need guys to lead out Ciccone. You only have 3 left, and 2 are working on the front right now with the speed there of Verona, so you got to be careful. Verona will wrap up the last breakaway rider, Archie Ryan, there with about 12 kilometers to go. After that, we're going to come into 11.7 kilometers to go. We see Soler is coming up the left side, as Soler from UAE Team Emirates is coming up the left. UAE Team Emirates, Almeida's been a little MIA since we saw him up there near the race leader's red jersey before the climb started proper. He's somewhere in there, but I cannot find him. So he's MIA. We go into 11.4 kilometers to go, and all of a sudden, Almeida comes into the picture, and he slots in just behind my man, Victor Campenaerts from Visma Lease Bike. Now, Visma Lease Bike have huge numbers up there. Jonas is there, of course. Jorgensen's in the picture. Sepp Kuss has been in the picture. Ben Toulet's in the picture. And my man Camp, I've already mentioned, with Almeida just behind him. Once we see that group all at the front of the peloton, the screen goes black. Then it comes back, and then it goes to the back of the peloton to see these guys suffering all at the back. When it comes to the front, we're talking about 11.4 kilometers to go. And Jorgensen's hitting out hard to the right. As he's hitting out to the hard to the right, Jonas Vingegaard's latched onto his wheel. Cicconi's latched on in 3rd position, but he's struggling a bit to close the gap up for Lidl-Trek. He will close on. Jay Vine in the KOM jersey jerseys up there sitting in about 5th position. And then we see the gap open up to Almeida. Almeida cannot hold the pace. Remember, he's not explosive. He's a diesel engine. How much energy did he use just to get up onto the back wheel of Victor Campenaut's wheel? Because he was never in the picture for quite a while when the climb started at 13. Now we're at 11 and a half. Now we see with the gap opening up Almeida, we see Jay Vine in the KOM jersey looking back over his shoulder with Ben Toulet next to him or just in front of him. And Jay Vine's looking back because what? Because he knows that Almeida may need some help. As we see Jorgensen throwing down, he goes into the right switchback. He goes in there full gas. We got Jonas Vingegaard and Cicconi's locked onto the wheel now. 3 riders in the front. We come out of this and exit, and the climb starts to get steep again. Jorgensen's drilling full gas on the front. Jay Vine's looking back. He's got Ben Toulet next to him, but Almeida is still not latched on. Then we see what? Well, it's time now, right now, for Jonas Vingegaard to throw an attack. I'm sitting on the Chesterfield like, this is not the script on today's stage 9. This should be a pretty mellow finish at today's stage with just some tacks coming at the finish and most likely Visma Lease bike controlling things. Instead, they're throwing down. Well, Jonas Vingegaard better be good as he leaves the wheel there of Jorgensen, and Jorgensen blows. Jonas Vingegaard's throwing down. Cicconi's locked onto his wheel. Behind him, Jay Vine's helping out Almeida try to close the gap, and the group back there starting to splinter and all over the place. As we go up front, Cicconi has latched on, and he's still locked on to Jonas Vingegaard's wheel as Jonas Vingegaard's looking back over his shoulder, getting no help. We go further back down. Look at Jay Vine. Jay Vine's drilling it. We'll call it about 9 guys, but it's going to start to get a little bit bigger as we see Landa and Felix Gall start coming up to the back of this group. They're going to make it a little bit larger, and then it's going to get a little bit bigger as Soler starts to get on there too. Now we go back up a little bit further though as we see Jay Vine start to blow at 10.4 kilometers ago. Once he blows, Almeida goes to work. Now Almeida starts setting a vicious tempo at the front here. He's sitting second group because there's still 2 riders in the front. They're called Jonas Vingegaard and Cicconi, but Almeida's going full gas as he's starting to put down power under the pressure and get this diesel engine rolling. There's a split in the back as we see right away. Mikel Landa, Soler, and the race leader's red jersey, Torsten Treyen, is coming out the back. Almeida's throwing everything into it. He's got about 6 riders sitting on his wheel. Almeida's there. Egan Bernal's there. Tom Pidcock's there. Jorgensen's there. Felix Gall's there. Riccatello is there from Premier Tech. We got some other company that'll come up eventually, but right now it's 7 riders with Almeida throwing everything into it. We go up and look at Jonas Vingegaard. What's happening up there at 10.1 kilometers? Jonas is throwing an attack. He's got an acceleration happening there against Cicconi, and Cicconi blows up. Jonas Vingegaard's going solo right now, holding about a 10-second gap on the Almeida train behind. Now, as Almeida's bringing the 6 riders with him up there, they're going to catch Cicconi. As they catch Cicconi, Tom Pidcock's like, I don't want to be behind Cicconi, so he comes around him. Then we see Jorgensen come around him. Almeida's still drilling it on the front. 9.5 kilometers to go. We see Soler, Beloki, Harold Lopez, and Garcia attack the race leader's red jersey as he's getting dropped off the back. And Soler's trying to bridge up to the group. We'll call him right at this moment the 3rd group on the road, if not the 4th. Now we go back into 9.5 kilometers to go. Almeida is throwing down some acceleration. We see a split happening just behind Almeida as Egan Bernal blows up. Jorgensen goes with him. Jai Hindley does. Cicconi's there. And Pellizzari, who just caught on, is now coming off. So there's 3 riders chasing 1 rider up front. Those 3 riders, Almeida, Felix Gall, Tom Pidcock, are trying to bring back Jonas Vingegaard that's holding about a 10-second gap still. Now, no one's working with Almeida. It's just Almeida all on his own. The diesel engine's turned on. He's got the gap at sometimes around 8 seconds. Sometimes it's back to 10. Sometimes it's going out to 11. But Jonas Vingegaard's been looking over his shoulder, but still keeping power on the pedals. We go back down and start looking at the group behind. We see 13 riders with Visma Lease bike on the front, but they're a bit of the ways back. This is probably the 4th group right now. So as we see Visma Lease bike with the race leader's red jersey, the red jersey's got some hope here because he's getting some help from Visma Lease bike duo of Ben Toulet, and Sepp Kuss as they're drilling on the front. We go back up front, 8.5 kilometers to go. The gap's at 9 seconds to Jonas Vingegaard. We look behind him at now extended to 12. It's Almeida, Gall and Tom Pidcock still in the picture. We go into 7.9 kilometers to go. Felix Gall starts to blow. Tom Pidcock has to go around him. Felix Gall's looking back over his shoulder. Almeida's throwing everything into it. He still hasn't gotten any help yet from Tom Pidcock, but he's holding the gap at about 10 seconds to Jonas Vingegaard. Now we go back down and we start looking at the race leader's red jersey. He's pulling on the front, trying to save the race leader's jersey here at the 25 Vuelta a España, but he's still losing time to Jonas Vingegaard. They're dropping massive time as they're about a minute and 20 seconds behind Jonas Vingegaard. Now we start looking at 7 kilometers to go. Tom Pidcock starts coming through for Almeida, but does just a short pull. They're losing a little bit more time. It's going up to about 20 seconds. We go into 5.5 kilometers to go. Tom Pidcock's on the front, but if I back the film up, as they did it live, we see Almeida was yelling something there to Tom Pidcock. Later we'll find out he was saying something about, do you got big balls or not? Well, Tom Pidcock's starting to pull with Almeida, but the diesel engine's not getting any closer to Jonas Vingegaard as the gap's out to about 25 seconds. We look back at the fourth group now, because remember, Felix Gall stuck in the middle. The fourth group has got split up 3 places. Jai Hindley's with 3 riders. Chaconi's with 3. Solaire's with 6 riders back there. Soler will try to bring it back together just under 5 kilometers to go in his group. And then we go up and look at Jonas Vingegaard. He's still going solo up there, but the gap is up to 30 seconds. We start fast forwarding into about 2.3, 2.5 kilometers to go. Almeida's on the front. Tom Pidcock has done some work, but Almeida's doing most of it right now. I'd say it's about 80, 90%. Almeida's still doing everything he can to bring back Jonas Vingegaard. We go into 1.2 kilometers to go. Raul Garcia is throwing an attack back there on the Soler group. Soler's pulling on the front. We go up front now into 1 kilometer to go. We look at Jonas Vingegaard. He's got the gap at 32 seconds. He's drilling it. But we go into 975 meters to go. He only needs about 32 seconds to get himself into the race leader's red jersey. He rounds the bend as he comes out of the last corner, sits up, kisses the ring, and then taps the chest, and then the arms go wide as he wins stage 9 here of the Vuelta a España. Just behind him at 200 meters, Almeida still on the front. They come around the bend at 125. We see Tom Pidcock accelerates on the right side. He gets second on the stage, grabs some time bonuses at about 25 seconds back from Jonas Vingegaard. Almeida finishes third on the stage. We go into about a minute 10 seconds back. Felix Gall's coming through. We go back down to about 300 meters or so to go. And Raul Garcia is still holding off the group behind, and Soler is starting his sprint at the front as the race leader's red jersey is attaching onto the back of Soler's group. Now they come around the corners, do the last bends. As the last bend to the left happens down the straightaway, Raul Garcia will round out with about 1 minute and 46 seconds back from the race leader winner here of Jonas Vingegaard. So that means what? That means the race leader's red jersey, Torsten Treyen, holds on to it for about a 30-second advantage on Jonas Vingegaard when it's all said and done after today's stage. Now, we look at the interview from Jonas Vingegaard. He said it wasn't the plan. He said he came into today's stage. He said his legs felt amazing, so he asked his teammates to light it up. Jorgensen did, blew the race up into pieces. Then, of course, Jonas Vingegaard had Chaconi on his wheel, who had to drop off, which he did. Jonas Vingegaard again said in his interview when he saw 10 kilometers to go, he didn't think they were that far out when they attacked. But yes, you were. But you were magnificent on today's stage. If you're going to do it, if you're the best climber in the world here at the Vuelta a España in 2025, well, then you have to go early because that's when the climb's the steepest. There's no chance you could go at the finish and wait late. So Jonas Vingegaard wins the stage in fantastic style, moves himself up further on the general classification, and most importantly, gains time on Almeida. Now, the biggest question I asked myself when Almeida was back there pulling so hard, how much energy did Jay Vine's stage victory cost him early in the first week? Could he have pulled longer? Could he have done more for Almeida if he hadn't been trying to win not 1 but 2 stages with Ayuso on the first week of the Vuelta? And then how much does Ayuso dropping off before the climb even started with sprinters, Fabio Christian back there? How much energy did that cost Almeida on today's stage? If you had Ayuso fresh, if you had Jay Vine fresher, could they have possibly closed the gap up to Jonas Vingegaard? We'll never know because UAE team Emirates were knuckleheads on today's stage because it started earlier in the week when they won 2 road stages, spending a ton of energy and left Almeida isolated and having to do all of the work here on stage 9 of the Vuelta a España. Like and subscribe, guys. It's a rest day tomorrow, but you know I'll bring you a video on Beyond the Coverage. So hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys for tomorrow's Beyond the Coverage video real soon.